Other people didn't like McCarthy because they said he was taking away people's constitutional rights to believe whatever they think is right. We interviewed Dr. St. Clair, who knew Senator McMurray, the former opponent of Senator McCarthy. We asked Dr. St. Clair how McMurray reacted to his treatment by McCarthy.
Dr. McMurray was a very competent political scientist, had his doctorate from the University of Wisconsin. He was a liberal Democrat. That's not the same thing as a communist, then or now. But McCarthy campaigned on a conservative ticket, a conservative platform, and certainly did criticize progressive views. He subsequently influenced the Board of Regents of the University of Wisconsin to terminate Dr. McMurray's tenured status, and McMurray was forced out of the University of Wisconsin.
However, communism cannot be part of the government because it goes against our Constitution.
Some Americans think that the government already has too much control and that socialist ideas in the government are encroaching on our freedom. These blue dots represent individual businesses in a country before it becomes communist, like China. Then the government comes in and centralizes all the companies into one, controlled by the government.
We are collectivizing more and more power in Washington. And you get that in the hands of the wrong people. We could really regret it. It's what the founding fathers told us not to do. We're doing what they told us not to do. And it always seems like we're doing it for a good cause. But once you let that power get centered, then all they have to do is to get control of that center. And then you look around and you don't have any power to resist it anymore.
We interviewed Dr. Gleason. His wife was a former citizen of the Soviet Union. He also told us how she took on the change between communism and democracy.
Initially, I saw communism as a rather abstract attempt to create a new kind of society, a society that would distribute goods on the basis of what people needed, and that would ask people to make a contribution to society on the basis of what they could do. That's what I thought communism was in terms of its theoretical development. But in fact, communism worked out in the Soviet Union and other countries that practiced it, worked out very differently than the theoretical models would suggest. So having worked in a country and worked with people who attempted to construct a communist society has changed the way I've thought about the history of communism.
These bars represent the people's money in a country before it becomes communist. Communism is supposed to even the money out so everybody has the same amount of money and it is all pooled. But what really happens is the government takes what they think is excess money and makes everybody equally poor. Since there is no incentive to work harder, the production rates get lowered and people get poorer and poorer.
Everybody understands the more they work, the better off everybody else is. Okay? That system has not yet been achieved. People have to work to make a living. Under capitalism, the person is free, the worker is free, the family is free. But it's like Jacques Rousseau says, both the rich man and the poor man had the right to sleep underneath the bridge.
They assumed that they were living in a situation that was optimal in many respects. When they finally did compare, when the walls came down and they could see the outside world and people could come in, they felt as though, and this is widespread, you'll find it from anyone that you interview from those countries, they felt as though they were fooled by their leadership, that they were told lies by their leadership. And that was a difficult recognition for them.
But the mindset of personal competition is what drives the corruption.
We have studied the Communist Revolution, America's reaction, and how communist and socialist ideas have reformed American laws.
During our project, we interviewed people from both sides of the political spectrum. They all had different reactions to communism, but one thing was clear. Communism is not compatible with our Constitution.